UAE economy booming at the moment, according to the latest report from the IMF. 4% growth for the country. But what about the individual emirates? Going to turn the spotlight now on the Northern Emirate of Ajman, because we're joined in the studio by the Director General of the Free Zones Authority of Ajman, His Excellency Ismail Al-Naqi. Your Excellency, good morning. Ahlan wa sahlan.
Good morning. Such a pleasure being here with you today.
Let's talk about Ajman, in particular the Free Zones Authority. 5,000 new company registrations almost last year. You want to double that in 2024. That's a bold plan. How are you going to do it?
Well, we've looked at what are the initiatives that needs to be done, and we've gone through a series of transformative steps during the 2023, and we've invested significantly on our IT infrastructure, where we have re-engineered the entire process of setting a company, where today, in light of this severe competition between the entire free zones across the UAE and the regional players, the expectation of the end users are rising and expanding. So today, with the Free Zones Authority and Ajman Free Zone and the Ajman Media City, entrepreneurs can set up their company in just a click of a button. Literally, before they finish their cup of coffee, they can get their license. So that's addresses the customer journey. The second thing, we try to apply a very versatile approach in developing packages that suits the requirement of all the entrepreneurs across the different domains, and trying to basically provide them packages that are value for money, cost effective, enables them to start their businesses with the minimum financial pressure from the licensing and the infrastructure point of view. Companies now can set up their offices in Ajman Free Zone and Ajman Media City starting from 5,555 dirham, with packages that starts from one visa package up to 4 visa packages before they venture into the large office space that requires that can fuel the growth of their business at a later stage of their business trajectory. That's the second thing. The third thing, we continuously ensure to invest and develop the right business ecosystem, where we create the right environment for these businesses to network and collaborate with the business community that we have, that comprise of 15,000 businesses. And this collaboration creates a shortcuts for the companies to and their go-to-market approach. On top of that, we're pursuing promoting Ajman and the UAE aggressively in the global scene, where we're participating in more than 15 international roadshows, strengthening our relationship with different agencies abroad to continue to position the UAE as the hub for entrepreneurs and business startups. And as you have seen, the prediction from the World Bank and the other agencies, they're expecting growth for the UAE GDP this year. So we're trying to leverage on all of these positive indicators for the UAE economy.
Which is great, but that World Bank, that IMF number overnight, 4% growth, happy days. You're looking at 100% growth.
Absolutely.
There's more going on than just the UAE economy doing
Absolutely.
well. It's highly competitive, the free zone market here. My learned friend Tom was looking at the numbers. At the last count, 46 free zones in the UAE. That's a lot of competition, Your Excellency.
Absolutely, it's a lot of competition, and this is and the UAE. I think if there is a word that is synonymous with UAE is competition. We are geared up toward the competition, and this is something that is stimulated by the government to encourage competition to benefit the economy in general. But we're not looking at the market from within the UAE. The market, we're focusing aggressively on the international scene in India, Pakistan, UK, Germany, Russia, China, Turkey. And there is a huge demand from entrepreneurs and companies from all of these regions to use the UAE as their base and their gateway to penetrate this entire emerging market. The entire emerging market is growing significantly. If you look at what's happening around us, if you look at Africa, there is the potential for business is significant. And it's an opportunity for all of those entrepreneurs, not the only local entrepreneurs, but the international entrepreneurs to come and use the UAE as a base. look at the connectivity of the UAE with the growth plan of the airports and the strategical location and the stability of the UAE. All of these are positive advantages that enables us to pursue our objectives in a realistic fashion.
I'm particularly interested in some of the manufacturing that you have there. Services are great. Well, we're a services company at a Free Zone radio station, but I'm interested in manufacturing. And looking on your website, 3 companies that I've never heard of that I'm particularly excited about. Mid-City Garments, making textiles in Ajman Free Zone. AUG Medical, making medical devices. And Aldaria Kopak, doing tea production there. And it's this kind of small to medium size manufacturing and light industry that somehow fascinates me. Talk to me about that, making stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at Ajman, and if we go a few years ago, Ajman actually has pioneered in the garment industry. Ajman used to be a regional hub for the garment manufacturing, and it used to export to international brands in Europe and in the US. And the garment industry in general is a very integral segment in the economical scene of the city of Ajman. The other industry.
But just quickly on garments, I mean, you say historically Ajman was very important, and I get that. But now when we think of the garment industry, we think further east. We think Bangladesh in particular and Sri Lanka. Can anywhere in the UAE compete on cost with Bangladesh or Sri Lanka when it comes to textile manufacturing, for example?
Not necessarily on the cost arbitrage. If we're looking at for the export industries, this is why I think I mentioned earlier that historically we've been exporting, but the current industries are supplying mainly the local and the regional demands. And there are few of our garment manufacturing are still supplying to certain sports brand in the UK, despite the fact that potentially the cost arbitrage might not be as competitive as Bangladesh. And when you look at the industries, and this industry in general, this industry is anyway moving from the human-intensive labor to robotics at the current stage. But, you've got to start from somewhere. We've started from garment, now we're evolving, we're growing higher in the value chain. When it comes to the food processing and medical, let's look at the food processing, for example, or the import of frozen food. Ajman is considered as a gateway for the import of frozen food for the UAE. 35% of the frozen food that gets into the UAE are actually coming through Ajman ports and through the supply chain that we have of the chilled stores.
What percent?
35%.
For the UAE is coming through Ajman?
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah. So maybe historically we have not been marketing and positioning ourselves in Ajman, but Ajman does play with its location and being in the heart of the UAE, proximity to Dubai, the business pro attitude and the friendly regulation, all of these, and most importantly the amazing total cost of ownership of running your business in Ajman, which is considered one of the most competitive within the UAE.
Well, let's talk about that finally, because looking on your website, cost competitive, that word does crop up. And that number 5555, you could set up a company for 5,555 dirhams. You do talk about cost advantage. Final question. If we were going to launch a line of business breakfast coffee, which isn't a bad idea, let's say we were going to do it and we wanted to produce it somewhere in the UAE, how much cheaper would be to do it in Ajman Free Zone versus manufacturing in, say, Sharjah or Dubai or Abu Dhabi, as a ballpark figure in terms of the rent I'd be paying? We've got about a minute left on that.
I mean, it's a different comparison when I look at Sharjah and when I look at Dubai and when I look at Abu Dhabi. Definitely, I mean, if we take Dubai as an example, setting up a business and running up your business, from a total cost of ownership point of view, it will cost you 40% lower.
40% lower?
Absolutely.
The phone, I suspect, will be ringing. Your Excellency, thanks so much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you very much
we
for
didn't
having
even
me
get
today.
to talk about tourism in Ajman, and there's so much going on there at the moment. Our producer, Mohammed Suleiman, big fan of golf in Ajman. We have to drag him back to the studio to do any work. But
Absolutely. We have a state-of-the-art golf course there.
you do indeed. His Excellency Ismail Al Naqi is the Director General of the Free Zones Authority of Ajman. Shukran jazilan.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.